Oh, that's why apparently. And if it doesn't have the thing, I'll
Yeah.
show you where it is.
Yeah. Got it. I got it. I got it.
Go, 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 go.
All right.
I know I'm sitting so far away, but this is where the other mic is.
So I believe that is the cutoff time.
Yeah.
Trying.
Okay.
Guess I missed a button.
Yeah. So with these last two donations, well, actually the last donation that came through was Ultima Mantoid. Shoutouts to FF14 Behemoth, Server Notice Network, and the Free Company of Obelisk. This name is for you guys. This is to name the thief Zakira, who will be gender swapped for this run.
You're gonna have to spell that for me.
Zakira.
Our warrior's still hype. Right?
Is he still hype?
Yes. Fighter is hype.
All right, we're gonna caps that up.
Yeah, let's catch that up. Do we have a name for the black mage?
Black Mage will be Lemb. Lembe.
Oh, thanks for that, MST.
Oh yeah, you missed that. Yeah, he donated. You were out of the room, and I looked for you. I was like, oh well, I'm gonna read it anyway.
Shout out to Metroid MST. I am Len B from Minby. Do we have one for the white mage?
Brass. Brass.
I think I called it Lembe when I read it, and I was like, I'm butchering that. My bad.
All right, the hype is real. So everyone better get down and get ready and deal with it.
I can't wear sunglasses or else I would do that. I'm blind without my glasses, so kind of not.
All right, we're set to go then. All right, we're gonna start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, this is Final Fantasy, the 27th remake of the first game. For this one in particular for the PSP, I'm just gonna buy this random hammer. I'm gonna set my config, and I'm just gonna do some random glitch. And oh, now we have knight's armor.
Bless this game and its many glitches.
This game is extremely well programmed. Oh, there's our blue-haired NPC. You're going to see him many times. He'll just be getting in the way. Originally, I was planning a meme for this run where I would just run no encounters, but that's only about an hour long. A lot of stuff gets cut out, and there's a lot of hype potential that would be removed.
We want to get as hype as possible.
We want as much hype as possible.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to try and get Warmech hype going in the chat.
Warmech hype!
Hype!
Hype! Warmech is the best enemy in the game.
Yep. Hopefully we will see him in about an hour, 15 minutes.
Nice. So, at the end of the run.
Getting there, yep.
Warmech is incredible. You know what? I'm just going to come on the couch because I know about Final Fantasy 1.
I don't. I'm just here to meme it up. Because I actually had this game as a kid, and for the life of me, as close to the original Western releases there was. I was terrible, and I never really beat it. My dad did. My dad showed me the ending, but I never did it myself. So I'm
Which
pretty
version
terrible.
did you have?
Dude, if I could remember.
The NES version is the most brutal thing ever to come out of Final Fantasy.
Ever.
Except maybe the original 4 in Japan.
I think
Yep.
we might have had. I think we might have had.
The equipment glitch is so... oh, there we go. The equipment glitch is actually two different glitches. One of them lets you put one piece of equipment on another person who may not necessarily be able to equip it. And then the second aspect of it is it transforms one piece of equipment into another. From an armor type to a weapon type, and then weapon type to an armor type. And you saw that I picked up a leather cap. That changes into the Judgment Staff. Judgment Staff is a Soul of Chaos dungeon drop from Atomos, Final Fantasy V extra content boss. We're going to see the Judgment Staff in action with our next boss fight. But for now, this is Garland. He's going to knock us all down.
Or try.
Or try, yep. And Garland fall down. Garland fall down. No hype for Garland.
Are you like supposed to lose, or?
Well, he's the first boss of the game. It's kind of like an intro boss.
Okay.
I mean, he's the king's most trusted knight before he betrayed the king, kidnapped his daughter Sarah. But we will see Garland one more time. Because,
sometime later.
yeah, this game has an interesting plot. It's not really much of a plot, but it's a plot.
Yeah, it's just enough.
And to be fair, it was, released, 30 years ago?
1987 was the original Japanese release. United States saw it in 1990. Super Nintendo came out about a half a year later, I think.
Yee.
So the fact that it has, a shallow plot is less,
It's less about the game itself. It's just more like
it was what you got back then.
Yep.
You didn't need a super detailed plot that had, convoluted twists and turns.
Yep.
It's literally, you are 4 guys and you save the world by getting 4 crystals.
Yep, exactly.
Pretty simple.
I apologize if I sound like death, by the way. I'm still on the tail effects of the remnants of this cold that I had a couple weeks ago.
I feel you, brother. Struggle is real.
And now we see that the king's workers and minions are building this bridge so we can get across to the other part of the continent.
I love how fast they built that bridge, though.
It was record time.
That was hyped.
Unfortunately, all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again.
They're too busy building a bridge.
Yeah,
Throw
exactly.
out.
They're like, yeah, we got this bridge. Dude, some egg fell. We'll get it later. We got a bridge.
But it was Humpty!
Shout outs to the original Final Fantasy.
Yeah, this is amazing.
I was able to skip that cutscene. Starting with the Game Boy Advance version of the game, you can skip all the cutscenes that are in the game.
They finally decided after so many versions, they were like, you guys are probably sick of seeing these.
Yep.
Let's add this in.
Yep. That's actually the funny thing about the first major port. Actually, it's the second for the PlayStation, the Final Fantasy Origins. It's ported from the WonderSwan Color version. It's a Japanese handheld. United States never saw that version. But the PlayStation version was up to all the graphics, all the sound, added a bunch of cutscenes. You can't skip any of those. And it's very faithful to the NES version. It maintains that level of difficulty.
Doesn't it also allow you to pick between like an easy mode and the hard mode?
Yes, it does.
Because the hard mode is really close to the original NES,
Yep.
whereas the easy mode actually gives you MP like by a number system instead of you have this many spell charges.
And it ups your level cap from 50 to 99. You level up much faster. Item prices are much cheaper.
Instead of the steel armor costing something like 36,000 gold
It's
or
like-
48, 36, some
Yep.
ridiculous number.
Yeah, so it's still expensive, but you can generally afford it by the time you get there.
So these are the pirates.
Yep, and that's the Judgment Staff. That's Flare. If you're playing the NES version, that's Nuke, the most powerful black mage spell in the game. They're dead.
Nice.
Now, how did you get the Judgment Staff?
The Judgment Staff was equipment glitched from the leather cap, which I found
Okay.
in the previous dungeon.
Yes, I know you mentioned it, but I didn't catch how you said that you got the Judgment Staff.
There was actually something about that I forgot to mention. This game uses item indexing for its equipment lists. Weapons have its own list, and armor has its own list. So when you do the equipment glitch, it actually switches from one to the other. So the leather cap matches an ID from the weapon in that particular set. So that's how it pulls up the Judgment Staff. We're gonna see this.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yep, we're gonna see this a little bit later.
Now, the specific party that you chose, where it is Fighter, Thief, White Mage, Black Mage, is there any particular reason for those 4?
Yes. Thief, believe it or not, and this is not true at all in any other version of the game, Thief in this version, best damage dealer in the game.
Wow.
And we will see that come to fruition a little bit later. Fighter, because of the equipment options. Fighter only exists as a meat shield and equipment options. White Mage, because of the one healing spell we will need for later. Shoutouts to not running from wolves. And then Black Mage, because of 2 spells for later, Teleport and Haste. Haste will be very important for only one fight, but also it's still just important. I'm sure. I'm sorry. Your Ultima,
Yes.
Ultima, and they're probably not used to seeing the PSP output on the TV. That is normal.
I was starting to wonder.
It's that's double letterbox. That's actually it's supposed to do that.
'Cause I know I have a PSP, but I've never hooked it up to a television. And so I was always wondering how it would look. I didn't know if it just cropped, like it went all the way to the edge of the screen and cropped the top, or if it just letterboxed the whole thing.
I wish it cropped it.
Crop tops?
Yeah.
Shout out to crop tops.
Crop tops.
Yeah, I actually wish it did fill the whole TV, but it's okay that it doesn't, because I've been doing this for a couple of years, so I'm used to it. But
I know the one spot in this run that I'm actually super excited to see, other than Warmack, is the ice cave.
Oh, the ice cave. That's our friend. Nothing happens in the ice cave.
Oh no, nothing ever goes wrong in the ice cave.
Nothing ever goes wrong there.
You know, unless you're, crazy like me and you're trying to beat the game, the original NES with one white mage.
Ooh.
Yeah, 3 years working on that challenge. I took a 2-year break because of the Earth Cave. I'm not even at the Ice Cave.
I believe it.
Yeah, I can look at it.
Ruse is your friend.
Yes.
This is the first actual
Ouch.
quote-unquote boss that's not Garland.
Ouch.
These
Wow.
are Pisco demons. They were called wizards in the original. They're one of the enemy types that you can't run from. Also, they hit like trucks.
And you saw with my Knight's Armor, which is actually coming up later, but, they still one-shotted my characters with the Knight's Armor on. Shoutouts to critical hits ignoring defense.
Instead of doing 150% damage, they straight up ignore your armor value and your absorb stat.
Yep.
I love how when sometimes you pick up items, they're so plain. It's just like, you got the crown. There's nothing special about it. It's just a crown.
Yep.
That's like the best part about this game.
That's why when Warmack does get a critical hit, you might as well just turn it off.
Yep.
I've seen him critical hit a knight, and I was like, nope, I'm done. Reset. This dungeon's also plagued by an enemy called Scum in the original version. I don't know what it was renamed to in the PSP version.
He's just green ooze, I believe.
Green ooze?
Yep.
They have an absorb stat, I think it was 255,
Yep.
which means every attack that isn't a critical hit deals 1 damage.
Yep.
No matter how hard you hit them, they'll take 1 damage.
Yep.
That's
That's an enemy that's that's the one tutorial enemy. It's like, okay, you have to use magic against that guy.
Or you just whack it 25 times,
Yep.
or until you get a critical hit. There's another variant later on, which was called the Slime. It's probably the Gray Ooze.
Yep.
Or the, yeah.
Yep.
But you'll find it later, and it also has 255 absorb. And it has 75 HP or 200 or something. It's absolutely stupid.
It is. Yep. Ooh, excuse me.
I wonder if we'll bump into an Iron Golem.
That's
He's
that
like,
is
I hope not.
that's one of the 1 in 64s I'm hoping we'll see in this run. There's 5 unique 1 in 64 or 4 of them. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
4 unique 1 in 64s I'm hoping to see in this run. Warmack, aforementioned, is
Actually,
one of them.
Warmack is 3 in 64.
In the
original?
in the original U.S. release, they changed his encounter rate to 3 in 64.
Oh.
They swapped him and Darkfighter.
Why Darkfighter?
I don't know.
That's
Reasons.
I guess they wanted to make the game harder.
Maybe, but
So he is a 164
He is
in
a-
every other version.
he is 1 in 64 in every other version. Yep.
Now here's another boss. This is Astos. I'm assuming it's Astos.
Yep.
It's one of those kind of ambiguously pronounceable names.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
First chance.
Shoutouts to Death.
Death was like, perhaps today is your day.
I know in the original NES, if you cast Mute on him, you do have a chance of silencing him, and then he does no damage because he keeps trying to cast spells.
That's my favorite part is they're like, I'm gonna cast spells, but I'm silenced. They don't really have they don't adapt. So.
They're not
Yep.
programmed. I don't even think Astos is programmed with a physical attack in the original.
He is.
Oh,
he,
he
he is, but he's only got a 25% chance to use it every round.
I don't think I've even seen it. Fight doesn't last long enough, so. Oh, yeah. Nope. I'm right. He does. I just remembered. I had to think back to my solo white mage attempt on that.
You're like,
muted
I have
him.
nightmares about that.
I muted him, got first round mute, had to cast Ruse twice, and then just held down the A button and went to sleep.
Probably just take the controller.
Yeah.
Woke
I actually
up
think
still
I went
going.
AFK and made a bag of popcorn.
I've done that before.
So my fighter's already at 200 hit points. I don't know if that's a good sign or not. I'm getting weird HP rolls on my level ups.
That's actually pretty high HP for this
That
level,
is extremely
especially for
high.
how fast you're going.
That is extremely high HP.
Some good rolls. You got RNGesus on your side today.
Stats are randomly determinated.
Yes.
Determinating.
You are terminated.
We're just gonna keep on the fact that we got RNGesus. That's what we want. We want our homeboy to be sitting here on the couch with us.
It's because I'm here. I'm good.
RNG's been kind
Except
of
for
odd
me.
because it decided to
Oh,
kill
you're-
my thief and black mage for one fight and then my white mage for another. It's gonna make my leveling later interesting. Also, I want to give shoutouts to Game Boy F9 who determined and discovered the different encounter rates for all the different areas in this game. Forest, much to everyone's expectation, has the highest encounter rate of anything in the game.
Isn't this
And I'm running through a lot of forest right now for this fetch quest, so
isn't
it's
this more or less like starting area though?
kind of, but the game, in the original game, they actually lowered the encounter rate for the starting area up until you beat Garland. Oh wow,
Oh, okay.
nice encounter there.
Gotcha.
Shark. Next time on Shark Week. Watch as they grow legs and climb on your battleships.
At the end
More
of
than
Shark
one.
Week, we'll watch Sharknado.
Oh, God. You know, you say that,
oh, heck
but
no.
sharks can be in the same encounter with water.
You never know. One day you're gonna see a Sharknado movie and it's gonna be like based on a true story.
How many of those are there now? 4 Sharknadoes?
4, I think.
Yep. The second one has the best title. It's just called The Second One.
Yeah, like they're so great. I love that they just have so much money to waste on those movies. Like,
They make enough.
yeah,
They make just enough money to
enough.
make a next one.
Yeah.
I think what helped was that the first one was surprisingly not as terrible as everyone was expecting it to be.
Yeah, I watched up to the 3rd one because I love memes and I love watching them. I haven't seen the 4th one. I think there's 4.
I haven't seen any of them, but I've heard they're absolutely outrageous.
Oh,
Truly outrageous.
They-
Shout outs to Jim.
I definitely would watch them by yourself. Like, get a friend, but they're pretty outrageous. Yeah. If you're up to have a good time.
Just trying to avoid the forest as much as possible. Not gonna be happening everywhere. Oh, there's an ambush. I usually have 4 of those by now. Shout outs to RNG.
Nice. Come on, RNGs. Be nice to us.
So the next destination, we've gone to Matoya. Pretty much what's going on right now is called the Exchange. You go to the Marsh Cave, you get the crown. Then you go to Astos, you beat Astos, and you're supposed to give Astos the crown, which would have made him the king of elves. And then he would have been like, ha-ha, take over the world! Because that's what all evil wizards do, right?
Yep.
So instead, you take the crown. I can't remember, you end up, no, you take the...
You take the
No,
crown.
he has the orb, that's right.
He has the orb,
You
yep.
beat him to get the orb, then you take the orb to Matoya, and so she can see. She gives you an herb because she likes to grow herbal medicines in her back garden, not plugging anything there. And she'll give you this herb, and then you take it to
This guy right
this
here.
guy right here, who's the Prince of Elves, and it wakes him up.
He was cursed to sleep by Astos.
Astos something.
Yep.
I bet that herb was time.
That is so not an oregano pun.
Oh!
So we got a little piece of equipment glitch right here. I'm going to pick up this mithril hammer. Normally a decent item for the white mage, but today it will be a thief's armlet. Thief's armlet is a very awesome piece of gear. Has a decent armor rating, as you can see. It raises my defense 30 points. The biggest upside to this is that it raises my agility 5 points apiece.
Nice. And that allows enemies to hit you less, I believe, in this one, doesn't
Yep,
it?
it will hit you less, and because of the way the formulas work, I actually have a better chance to run away from encounters with a better agility stat. Shoutouts to Game Boy F9 for figuring that part out as well.
Is there anything else he's figured out? Sounds like
There's a
Legend.
few. He's really done some recent work dissecting the PSP version of this game.
Is this like one of the preferred ways to play this game?
Well, there is also a glitchless run. It's pretty much the same as the Game Boy Advance version.
Okay.
But, yeah, for PSP, this is pretty much the way to go. Shoutouts to not running from wolves. Wolves have insane agility.
I know in the original, the agility stat is broken and doesn't do anything.
Yep.
In fact, it is so broken, it actually reads the agility of a person two party members above you. And it still doesn't work.
Yep.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yep. That's why the thief is the worst character in the original, is because, first of all, agility does nothing. So even if you have a thief, you don't really run away any better. Second of all, the thief can't really equip much of anything. Third of all, the thief doesn't do anything but attack. Has no, like, because of the lack of equipment, lack of stats, and just overall patheticness, nobody really picks a thief. They usually just go for a black belt because, hey, I can hit something 36 times and deal 4,328 damage, because why not?
Wow, that's so precise. Is that like recalled from memory?
No, I just made up a
Okay,
number.
you made it up. Okay.
I have watched a class change black belt actually kill Chaos on the first turn.
Wow, that's insane.
Yep.
Yep.
Good job, NES version. Shoutouts to the NES version for being the buggiest game I've ever seen. That isn't Mega Man square root of -9 or square root of -1. Well, I'll get the number right one day. It's so buggy I can't even say the name right.
We'll just keep making up numbers.
Square root of -pi.
You just exploded with the paradox there.
How
does that even happen?
The fractal power of Y. That needs to be a fan game now. Mega Man and the fractal power of Y.
We need more math puns in here. So you may have seen me pick up that mithril knife, glitch that into a black robe. That is purely for RNG mitigation later on in a few dungeons.
So what's going on now is after you wake the prince up, he gives you the Mystic Key, which is why you go back into the Marsh Cave. Is it Marsh Cave?
It's Cornelia Castle, the first
That's
castle
right.
of the game. Yep.
Okay, it's Cornelia Castle. I was trying to remember which one had the TNT. So you go and you get the TNT and you give it to this little dwarf. And he wants to finish this canal. And so when you give it to him, he gets super excited. He goes down, he plants the TNT and just makes the biggest crater you'll ever see. And makes the canal, which allows you to get into the rest of the game. Which it's pulling up right now.
Here's one. Mega Man cosine.
Nice.
Shout out to
Mega
Chad.
Man in the cosine reversal.
Wow, you just going on a weird tangent there, man. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Sometimes my humor is just parabolic.
Some people are just not going to understand the radius of your thing.
Listen, you just have to look at the parameters sometimes.
We are terrible people, and we are okay with that.
Keep in mind, this terribleness is to help raise money for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. We are taking donations in an attempt to help expunge the world of its evilness.
Oh yeah, send them donations, and if you add a math pun, we'll love you forever.
Bring in the math puns.
Oh yeah.
$1 donation with a math pun response.
Oh wow, that was fast.
Hit us.
Oh no. I was just giving that up. Sorry.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry.
Man, Vesper really let us down, man.
The volume of that was disappointing. Listen, I've heard pie. Listen, I've heard pie are round, but you, sir, are square.
I might need my inhaler, y'all. Y'all need to stop.
Sucking in magical air is wonders. I understand the pain. Have cough drops if it would help.
No, I'm good. I have asthma. It's really good.
No, I have it too. That's why I'm saying cough drops help me though.
Don't do anything for me.
Mine is more coughing than like shortness of breath and wheezing.
I don't really have coughing. It's more my chest is like clenched.
You should go get a coughing. It's on Route 12.
You're not wrong though. I gave you that one.
You've given Quacken cancer.
Well, I didn't realize we were fighting that.
I think we're gonna get a mini marathon together so we can cure his cancer. Like,
No, well, see, the thing is it's unfortunate because he didn't get cystic fibrosis, so we can't cure it.
oh, that's true.
So we can't fight it. We
Yeah.
can't fight it.
Well, I mean, we can, but we're doing math puns, not science puns, so we're kind of screwed. Too bad you couldn't get a math-related disease.
So we've entered the Earth Cave. Now, this one, in a speedrun, you still have to enter the Earth Cave, Earth Cave twice.
Yes, you do.
Oh, boy.
There will be a roadblock we call the plot boulder coming up just after this next boss.
It literally is like a boulder. It's like a massive plate that covers a stairway.
Yep.
And it's behind the vampire, which will be coming up. It's the next boss.
Spoilers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.
Listen, this one doesn't shimmer in the light, okay?
I'm just kidding.
So we do have a question from the chat.
Okay.
Someone's asking why give the black mage the barbarian sword.
The barbarian sword has its own damage formula, and shoutouts to birds not petrifying me, hopefully. Come on.
Oh yeah, the cockatrice.
Yep. And this barbarian sword is by far the most strongest and broken weapon in the game. It is a drop from Chronodia, a boss specifically added for this version of the game in the new Labyrinth of Time dungeon. And we will see just how broken it is in just a second. You may have seen some damage rolls. I was doing 50, 80, something like that to our previous encounters, our previous bosses. Just pay attention to this damage roll right here.
In before you miss.
Yeah.
That would be something.
Wait for it.
Wait
Yes.
for it. Watch Marathon Light. The white mage is not paralyzed.
Nope, and the vampire's now dead. That was a low damage roll, 498.
And that's the barbarian sword.
That is barbarian sword, yep. That is based on strength to some degree. There is a buffing spell that the black mage has, Temper, from the NES version. They call it Steel in this one.
In the original version, Temper doesn't do anything. It is a broken spell. It does not actually work. Despite the fact that it actually says, hey, this ups your attack, it really doesn't do anything. Temper is broken, Saber is broken, all of the anti-spells cast by enemies don't work.
Yep.
Or they work in reverse, one of the two. And there's another one that the white mage gets that doesn't work either.
Let's see here.
The fact that the original even functions sometimes is astounding.
Yep. Let's see here. There's a spell that's supposed to lower the enemy's evade. It actually is broken. It actually raises the enemy's evade. The lock spell.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
God.
And Lock 2 doesn't work at all.
It doesn't work at all. Yep. Sleep is actually broken, where if any enemy put to sleep is basically going to wake up after the next round.
Wow.
It can be useful if you are, in certain situations, but there's so few and far between that there's just other spells for the black mage in the original. Also, all the weapons in that game, their crit rate is their number index and not their actual crit rate.
Yep.
So that's why when you get something like the Excalibur, which I think is item indexed at, 42 or something, it's like a 42% chance to crit every hit. And when you're scoring, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits with a fighter, you're looking at, around 3 of those to be criticals every single time. And that's when damage just goes out the table. And that's why the second half, or at least the last, third to 2/3 of the game, get so much easier. Everything after the Ice Palace.
Status protection. Was it protection in the original? That doesn't work at all.
I think it was Wall that doesn't.
Wall,
Yeah,
okay.
Wall's the one I think that's bugged too.
I don't remember the names of anything, but I'm just kind of
Also-
vaguely remember that it's so broken.
There was something up with, I think Exfer.
Yes,
Exfer's
Exfer.
the one, yeah.
That's supposed to lower all of your elemental resistance.
Well, it was supposed to do something else, and it's bugged, I think, in some way. Because I was thinking XXXX.
That's just an instant death spell.
Yeah. Which is originally named Death in the Japanese version, but because Nintendo had a big thing where you can't use the word death in their games, they just changed it to 4 X's. Which actually makes the spell sound way more intimidating.
Yep.
Because you don't know what it is anymore, it's just you die. Or in the case of Rub, you get completely erased,
Yep.
which is a wonderful spell.
Now, there is one thing that this particular port of the game genuinely broke. Those shadows that I just ran from, they're normally supposed to be the highest ambush encounter in the game. Instead, they turn out to be the highest preemptive encounter in the game. They must have got something backwards with stats when they were working on the code.
You got those values wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, because if you're going to when you go into the Large Cave, shadows are there, and almost every encounter with a shadow is an ambush.
At least it's supposed to be. It's like a 90% chance of an ambush.
It's something pretty high up there, and so whenever you fight, shadows, they're just they're gonna get the first turn. Now, of course, the good thing is they don't really do a lot of damage.
They're just more of a nuisance than anything.
Yeah, they're not like ghosts.
Oh, ghosts.
You can't run from them.
Nope.
And they smack you for too much damage. Don't they ignore defenses or something?
Yeah, they have a high critical rate too.
And they can also paralyze you.
Yep.
Is it paralysis or stun? I don't think it matters.
It
really,
is paralysis in this one, but
Okay.
it's...
Because I know it's just called stun in the original.
Yep.
Oh, and speaking of zombies, also inflict paralysis. Pretty much every type of zombie. And only the wraiths... No. It's images and ghosts that apply paralysis.
Yep.
And, yeah. And sorry if I'm using the archaic names. I'm actually
Nope,
not too familiar
those are actually
with
the
them.
names I am also used to, because
Okay.
shout-outs to Carrie. not
Merilith.
Yeah, not Merilith.
I remember doing a video playthrough of this, and I named the part where you fight Carrie. I think I named it Carrying Merilithic Horrors.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, I couldn't resist. Again, wolves have pretty high agility, so you can't get away from them as easy.
Even when I put higher agility boosting equipment on, they will still get the first turn. 'Cause their agility is through the roof.
So we're coming up on the second trek through the Earth Cave. The reason you have to go back through, when you go in and you fight the vampire, you get this ruby. Now there's a plate behind the vampire. Again, you can't go through the plate. So when you get the ruby, you have to take it to the Rock Eater in Sardis Cave.
Sardis Cave is the one behind that.
No, okay. There's a path in between that and Sardis Cave. There's a giant. He's like a Rock Eater. Think Never-Ending Story.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of what
Big,
came to mind.
strong hands, and he likes to eat rocks. Well, he likes rubies. Rubies are his favorite. And he'll actually get out of the way because you gave him such a delicious snack. So then you go and you talk to Sarda. Sarda gives you the staff, or whatever it is in this version.
Yep.
And you can use that on the plate, and it will shatter the plate and allow you to go deeper into the Earth Cave. Which is where the cause of the Earth's rot comes from. Which is guarded by the first true boss of this game.
Yep.
Oop, we're gonna get a big baddie.
Somebody's poisoned. Oh yeah, he's a big baddie. And they seriously up the HP of the bosses in this game.
Yes, they did. The Lich I will be fighting has...
Spoilers.
the boss.
Pretend you didn't hear that.
Yeah, just scratch that from the record. We never said Lich.
Like you did?
No, I didn't say it. I don't know
No,
what you're talking about.
I don't hear anything.
So the upcoming boss in the original has 400 HP, which you would think is a significant amount of HP, and it kind of is at that point in the game. Like,
Yes, it is.
I mean, the vampire has either 220 or 280, but it's also got weaknesses to fire and harm, which is a white mage exclusive spell. Or at least it was harm back then. I don't know
Yep,
what it is now.
it's Dia now.
Oh, yeah, Dia.
But you could still theoretically one-shot the vampire with a good damage roll.
But when you get to the upcoming theme...
Oh, shoutouts to Ochre Jelly, 1 in 64
Ooh.
encounter.
There's one of them. It probably means we won't see any of the others.
Probably not. But I always get at least one per run. That's one of my memes with this game, because
There's the plate.
there's our evil plate.
And there's stairs.
Shoutouts to Cruel with a 1 in 64 Ochre Jelly encounter.
Nice. I did not know that they were 164.
They are on that floor.
On that floor, okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there's the petrification.
Alright, we are not going to mess around with these guys. You guys can go away now.
Yeah, pocket trice are incredibly dangerous, even in the original version. Especially in the original version.
Mm-hmm.
Stone was a status effect that did not go away. you had to use a soft on it. So if you're running around with no gold, one character that's wounded, and 3 stoned enemies,
You're dead.
You're kind of soft locked. Unless you just die. And then you start back at your last save spot. Hopefully you didn't save with an entire party of stoned people.
Yeah.
I mean, petrified people. Scratch that. We're not talking about Matoya's, never mind.
That time.
that one time that Matoya got really crazy at a party. We won't talk about that. The party. That one.
Party.
You know, the one that they were inviting all the mages to, and then the black mage went in and killed all the orphans. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. Because we all know the black mage just loves murder. If you've ever read 8-Bit Theater.
Urge to kill is rising.
I can.
Fighter Doken.
Oh, the move's name is Rita. Okay.
So here we are. We are on our first Fiend. And now how much HP does the Fiend have in this version?
In this one, it's a little over 900 in this one.
Yeah, so significant boss HP boosts.
That is. Because you have all that cool equipment. So, it shouldn't be too bad.
Although they're not expecting you to have Barbarian Swords.
Nope, so I'm still going to kill him in 2 hits, hopefully.
526
And
and
there's-
633.
Oh.
Oh no!
Oh,
3
okay.
hits.
There it is.
It's probably
So,
like
I guess
4 or 5
1200
hit
HP
points
then.
Yep. Now, this boss is especially dangerous on this route because he has Blazara. And since I have no elemental protection right now, he can one-shot my party.
Oh.
Which
Oh,
is which is
yeah.
why I do that safety save before that fight.
That's right. Lich does have access to ice too. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Lich is not so much weak to fire, ironically. Is weak to, like, Dia/harm.
Yep.
But is the only one that doesn't really have an elemental weakness. Like, one that you have easy access to. Which kind of makes it scary in the revisit. Oh, revisits. We'll talk about those later.
Yep.
I'm sitting so far away from the TV, like my eyes are turn, but when I'm at action, I yawn, so I'm not tired and I'm not bored. I'm just like, I'm yawning because my eyes are strained and it makes me think I'm tired.
You know, the size of the picture is probably not helping matters there.
Yeah,
No,
no.
it's
So
really
I
not.
keep yawning, and probably somebody's
Do you
like,
wanna switch
"Are you
faces?"
bored?" No. It doesn't matter. I'm still too far away. But I'm not bored and I'm not tired. I'm just, it's a weird body there. Just we're in before somebody's like, she's bored. I'm not bored. I'm actually very interested in this. Like, how
Shout outs to Varn being bored.
Hashtag Varn's bored.
So here's the
Entertainment.
shadows again. Again with their, they don't ever ambush you in this game.
They do, but
Oh,
it's
they do?
extremely rare now.
So it's like they somehow flip the value somewhere.
Yep.
They messed up somewhere.
They can't make a bug-free version of this game.
They cannot.
You'd
and
think
for-
with all these versions they'd get it right. Like
They've had 30
messed up.
years to perfect this game, and they still can't. Square, get on your A game.
Yeah. And
Squeenix.
apparently, they're actually keeping the critical rate bug because they've decided intentionally not to fix it in any version. It's always, critical hit rates on your weapons is always going to be based on what ID it is and not its actual critical hit rate.
See, the fact that they made that as an executive decision, that's something I can get behind. Because it's like, well, it is bugged in the original, but they're like, you know what? I guess for nostalgia's sake, we're just going to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we made a mistake and we acknowledge it, but we like our mistakes, so you're gonna deal with it.
And I guess they probably adjusted the game based on that,
A
too.
little bit, yep.
Yeah, because I've heard that, is it the Cove? the extra dungeon or whatever?
There's 5 extra dungeons in this game. There's 4 different Soul of Chaos dungeons, one for each elemental fiend,
And then there's the one with-
and then the Labyrinth of Time. When you beat all the fiends in the original game, that unlocks.
Okay. See, I'm not familiar with the extra dungeons,
and then you
but
get-
I do know they exist.
Yep, and then you get Chronodia, the Time Master, and you would have thought this was something from Chrono Trigger, but because of the way the game's plot is, it's actually it is actually time travel in a sense.
Fun reminder, I love Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger is an amazing RPG.
Yes.
Had somebody tell me that my gamer card was revoked because I had never played Chrono Trigger until a couple years ago.
Really?
I
It
played-
is an amazing game. Some people say it is overhyped. You people are wrong.
It is a great
think,
game.
I think to a degree it is kind of overhyped. That doesn't mean it's great, but I also think things like Final Fantasy VII are also overhyped. So most people don't like my opinions. But my boyfriend used to speedrun Chrono Trigger, so he's like super
wait,
all into it, and I'll play it casually. And he's like, "Why don't you do this?" And I'm like, "Because I don't want to."
Because I don't want it.
So I picked up some mithril gloves here. This is a relatively new addition to the route, which we're going to put on the mages only. This item is the Lust Dagger. This is another Labyrinth of Time dungeon item. And the only thing special about this item is that it raises your agility by 20 points.
Nice.
Which
That is a significant deal.
Yep. Oh. Oh, come on.
Shout out to the item book.
Shoutouts to, okay, Black Garb.
Oh, wow. So you can just equip it on all the slots.
Yep.
So you just stacked yourself.
Yep.
What's going on right now is he's equipping the black garb. Now, did you put the black garb on the white mage?
Yes, White Mage
That
and the
shouldn't
Black
be
Mage.
even possible.
Nope.
So yeah, that's something else that's pretty crazy,
Yep.
apparently.
Black Garb is a Thief exclusive item.
I was thinking the black robes.
Black Robe is a Black Mage exclusive item.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of, not the black garb. So what he just picked up here is the canoe. That's what you get for proving that you were able to best the Lich down in the bottom of the Earth Cave and hopefully cure the Earth's rot. So that particular sage out of the 12, the Circle of Sages, or Ring of Sages, whatever they're called, he's like, hey, here's your reward, have a boat. A smaller boat. Not quite a dinghy, but a smaller boat.
And the purpose of that smaller boat, you're actually supposed to go fight Carrie next, but I'm going to divert from that, and we are going to go to the Ice Cave next.
Oh boy.
And nothing ever happens in the Ice Cave.
No.
We're
It's
pr-
actually
we're-
pretty boring.
Yep, it's pretty boring. We're really safe. Everyone will just go grab a cup of coffee or whatever it is you want to drink right now. Grab a pizza.
Oh, so there is two different types of water. Okay, I was kind of confused. I was like, why don't you just get in the ocean with the canoe? But then I kind of thought about that. Nobody swims the ocean with a canoe. I mean, if you want to try, feel free. Hit me up, send me a video. But
So yeah, you can't take the boat into the rivers because the boat's too big. Like that's the way that it's theorized is that the boat's just too big. The pirate ship's too big.
so you have to earn your way.
You have to earn your way into the
smaller
rivers. Yeah.
boat.
But
have
there
to
aren't
earn-
really any rivers that you need crossing until this point in the game.
Yeah, but it's just funny that you start with a big boat and then you earn your way to the smaller boat. You know? Like,
Yeah,
I think that's
usually it's the
hilarious.
reverse. That's something I do have to give, Final Fantasy. It's like you get the big boat really early in the game. You get it from like the second boss, which is the 9 pirates.
Cue the
And
Lonely
then-
Islands, I'm on a boat.
I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. He's just looked at both of us. He's like,
Hey, we
No, I'm gonna say, don't continue.
no.
no.
I mean, I only worked for the marathon and wrote all the rules, and so, heaven forbid.
So yeah, this is again, this is the ice cave. Truth be told, it's probably the most dangerous dungeon in the whole game.
Yep. By
Is
by
it
and large.
because you could easily slip on ice and break your...
I wish it were that easy.
Yeah. This is one
This
enemy.
guy.
This is one of them. He's not as dangerous now
Oh, the
because
mind
you're
flayer.
able to get away and kill him pretty quickly. But he is one enemy in the original game that will just wreck your face, and you
Especially
have
if you see
nothing.
them in multiples.
Yeah, and there will be nothing you can do about
Shout
it.
out to Mind Flayer.
Mind Flayer has something tagged to his physical attack. It happens to be a spell called Death. So he hits you for 1 damage,
But then you
but
die.
you're probably dead.
But then you die.
You just die. In fact, he
What
also...
are the chances of dying by death? Is it like a
It's
roll?
like
pretty
it's like
high.
it's like 70% chance.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like, 50 to 70. If they hit you physically and you don't die, thank your lucky stars.
Yep.
Why are we taking damage here?
This is intentional tanking damage. I'm trying to get my fighter down to a point where he will be one-shotted by a spell. 78, a little bit more. Okay. Alright, I usually run into white dragons here, so I will do a safety save to not get the double dragon encounter, hopefully.
Okay. We're all about them safety straps. This is a marathon after all.
The other enemy that's really dangerous in here is originally called the Mage.
Oh.
He is the Dark Wizard in this particular version.
Rip Thief. Bye, Zakira.
Rip, please.
He will be back.
Are you sure? No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure he has some use in here.
Yeah. There's a boss coming up. Not like a fiend level boss, but there is still a boss. This one right here.
Mm-hmm.
The Evil Eye.
I need you to kill my fighter.
Now, what does this cause exactly?
This is setting up for grinding purposes only. I need to get my mages to level 18. So by the time I am done with my next section of the game, they will be level 19. They can learn their spells. White Mage will learn Healara, which will be my primary healing spell for later. And Black Mage will learn Teleport.
That Levistone looks like
It's a crystal, I guess. I don't know what it is.
it looks like Romuald from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Or Evangelion.
Yes.
However you want to say it, I say it both ways just for everybody's fancy. My favorite anime in the world. This run is over, let me show you my computer.
Shoutouts to Mother Brain's Hyper Beam in the background.
Oh, yeah. Yes, they are doing that.
Hi, my protege!
Somebody just got brain beam.
I'm talking to you, I was talking to Hubert.
We're just level grinding, it's okay.
Yeah, we're making bad puns, you're missing them.
Yep.
So in the original version, this is another encounter you don't really want to mess with, but because of all the bugs and equipment and stuff going on in this run, it's a totally different world. Because, I mean, you just watch the Black Mage just walk up, stab you in the pupil, and just go, ha ha!
Yep. And
Call me a clothy again, I dare you!
he's got 4 different death spells at his disposal in the original NES version. That's what makes him so dangerous, and you really have no defense against any of them.
Yep, until you get anti-rub, but you don't get that until you get to the other towns, which you need the floater to get to, or the Levistone in this one to get to. So it's kind of catch-22. The spell exists, but you're not going to get it before him. Unless you hack in your Levistone.
Okay, White Mage is
Which
still
means you're a
17.
dirty cheater.
Excuse me.
I know it's like rub, XXXX, stare, I think,
Yep.
and then something else. And then it has a physical attack, but it never really uses it. So it pretty much just does nothing but cast death spells. On top of that, you know, you have to get here going through the Mind Flayers, which instantly kill you. And then you have the Dark Wizards, or Dark Mage, yeah, Dark Wizards.
Yep.
That will cast everything from Fyra to
Bane.
Bane,
Bane.
Blizzara, Thundara. Yeah, they
Shout out
basically
to
cast
Elemental
nothing but level 2 and level 3 magic, which will one-shot your whole party.
Shout out to Elemental Spells.
Oh, hey, there
No,
they are.
speaking of,
But I got a preemptive, so we're just going to say goodbye and have a nice day.
So is that 2 out of the 64?
no,
Uh,
they're
the-
not 1 in 64.
No, they're actually pretty common.
Okay.
Unfortunately. The other thing that makes the Mind Flayer so dangerous is their ability to trance.
Yes. That
Which
is
a
multi-target.
Yeah, full party. It's a full party paralysis spell, which means if you get hit by it, and then they just proceed to beat you to death, literally with death.
Oh, wow.
I feel like sometimes those things just have a Grim Reaper in their pocket, and they just pull it out and physically beat you with this scythe bone terror. It's just, I mean, they're just like, ha ha ha. And you also see them later in the game, too. So they're not exclusive to the Ice Cave. They show up in the floating castle.
Yes, they do. They are accompanied by clay golems.
I love how the canoe fits in your pocket. Like, shout out to the pocket-sized canoe.
No, what my favorite thing is that there's a house in a box in a house inside of a cave.
What is this, the Minish Cap? Like,
When you go into the Dwarven Mines, there's one of the chests that has a house in it. But the house is inside of a chest, which is inside of another house, which is inside of a cave.
that sounds like we're playing the Minish Cap.
It's my favorite item in the entire game. It's like, this house. I want to live in this house. So here we are, we have the Levistone.
You know, now that I think about it, that crystal actually kind of looks like a random encounter in Earthbound, like those little orbs that float around.
The
from legends.
Uncontrollable Orb
Yes.
and there's another one.
Okay.
Or, Uncontrollable Sphere and the Smiling Sphere.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Shouts to Earthbound, the greatest RPG ever.
I like Earthbound. It's not my favorite, but
my
I
favorite.
respect it. And one of my favorites. I like Earthbound.
Now, if this was the NES version, I could just take that airship and land it on this tile over here, but sadly they fixed it.
Dang.
Probably for good reasons too, because you can get stuck doing that.
Imagine them actually fixing things in this game.
Because I think it is possible where if you land your airship on the caravan and you keep walking away from it, you can't get back on the airship.
Yep.
It just makes it a convoluted mess. So it's one of the things I'm kind of glad that they fixed. Small inconvenience, but...
So this is another giant fetch quest, side quest area. I just purchased a bottled ferry. A pirate in this town, I believe, just took the ferry, put him in a bottle, and sold it to this guy in this random oasis.
Yeah, that's why we went and stopped out in the middle of that desert. We picked up the bottled ferry, which is a pretty expensive ferry. I don't know if they adjusted the price on that in this version or not.
A little bit. It's only 45,000 in this one, but it's normally like 60 some thousand, I think, or no, 50,000. I'm sorry, 50,000, I think, in the NES version.
It's 55 actually. I think
55.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Might be 55. It might be 50. I honestly can't remember. You might be right.
But this ferry will grant you oxyale. I don't know how do you pronounce that. It's just
Like
I figured it was
oxygen-filled ale?
oxyale. It's supposed to be like gills.
Oh.
Like, I'm assuming you would put it over your mouth or attach it to your mouth, your throat at some point, and it would just breathe the water for you like a fish. I mean, who knows? It's magic. It's magic. You can literally just say "'cause magic," and it makes sense.
That's very true.
There's an encounter right here called Sandworm, which will wreck your face if you're unlucky enough to get it, and it's
Crack.
yeah. And what are these guys
Crack
doing?
kills.
Yeah, what are these guys doing here? I don't remember this encounter being here.
Oh yeah, the lizard, the iguana in the original, as he's called.
Yeah,
That's a kind of a low encounter.
we'll have to look that up.
Like, that particular combo, I think, is actually kind of low. You find an iguana by itself more than you do the iguana with the giants.
Mm-hmm.
I love being able to inter-switch the names in this version.
We're old school, we know them.
Yep. These actually can poison you in this one, can't
Yep,
they?
yes they can. And its brethren, the manticores, also can as well.
Is it still called the Manticore?
Yes.
That was a great name.
I don't know anything. I'm here for the memes. Don't ask me questions. I'm just here to make bad jokes. And ask
Here we
really dumb
go.
questions.
The Citadel of Trials, or the Cave of Ordeals,
Yep.
or something.
You have to talk to this guy, or otherwise this door up here does not unlock. You cannot proceed. Originally, he existed to tell you that you need the crown to proceed, but there will never be a point where you can't have the crown here, so they probably just changed the condition for it.
This reminds me of the ancient city. Well, it's actually, I don't think it's ancient. I think it's more in the future. I don't remember. It's a city you time travel in Tales of Fantasia, like people will work and stuff. That's what that reminded me of when I saw that.
Something I do want to point out, since this is, a heavily updated, port and version of the original, in the original, you're just walking into pillars. They just look like solid stone columns, or marble columns, some sort of material. So when you walk and then you teleport, you're like, what?
What happened? Like, did I break the game?
So that's what makes the Cave of Ordeal so weird, because you just see these random pillars, and you're like, where do I go? Shoutouts to Nightmare, which is one of the coolest mythical creatures ever.
I can imagine like people trying to avoid the pillar because they think that they would just hit a wall. I can imagine that.
So that healing staff is a very important game in the original version because it is your only free source of healing.
Important item, you said important game.
I did?
Yes.
My bad. It is a very important item. It's also an important game, but it is a very important item in the original game because that is your only free source of healing, multi-targeted healing.
So the way you would get through in the original game is if you got to this point and you got the heal staff, you put it on somebody like your black mage or your white mage or somebody that's weaker on your team, even the thief.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the thief super useful. You give him the heal staff and you just use it every turn. And everybody gains, I think it was like 18 to 28 HP or
Yep.
something like that every turn. And while that doesn't sound significant, if you've got a fighter up in the front taking 1 to 10 damage from an enemy, it starts adding up. So, and there are multiples of that, plus the heal helmet.
Yep, the heal helmet will not make an appearance in this game, but it serves the same purpose. That free multi-targeting healing is just essential in the original game. Because your potion supply, your heal potion supply, is extremely limited. You only get a stack of 99, and you have to buy them one at a time, as I'm sure everyone.
You still have to buy them one at a time?
No, you can buy multiples of them now, but
the original it was very time
It's
consuming.
very painstakingly time consuming. Everyone who's played it knows how groany it is. It's
Oh man, you feel satisfied when you get as many as you possibly can.
Yep.
Though, I'll tell you that.
And if you have ever watched an actual NES, like the original NES speedrun of this game, you have to painstakingly buy potions. There's no way around it. The original game was just not balanced.
Yep. Shoutouts to Feasel and Gyre.
Yeah, shoutouts hardcore to Feasel. Any man sane enough to run the original in a speed run earns respect.
Alright, hopefully no sandworms on the way back. They're fairly uncommon, but they can still show up and you just don't want to deal with it.
Now, what is that? That was the Ankylo.
Yep, that was the original Ankylo, yep. Ankylo, yep. Whatever.
I was about to say, like, the sprite looked like the Ankylo, but I wasn't sure what they called it now. Or is it still called Ankylo?
Nope, it's Beretta and Desert Beretta.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about those two, they are not, I mean, they have the same sprite, they're palette swaps, but they are definitely not the same enemy. The Ankylo is actually more offensive, I think,
Yep.
and the Beretta, and the Desert Beretta is more defensive, has lower attack, but has a higher defensive stat.
And one of them, I don't remember which one, only drops 1 gil per kill. So
I think that's the original one. Or no, it might be the Desert Beretta.
Fun fact, the beret does not look like a beret. I've been rused.
It also doesn't look like an actual Beretta.
Yep.
What is an actual beret?
A gun.
Like? Oh! I would have known that.
So Bahamut here just granted us a class change for proving our worth with Random Act of Courage, just getting this random rat's tail. We now have access to more spells and more equipment.
Also, the airship is easily the best thing you pick up in this
Oh
game.
yeah.
It's without it. Oh yeah, welcome to Melman, by the way. I don't think we ever said that earlier.
Yep.
Enjoy your stay.
This is our second obligatory trip to Melmond. There will be a third. Oh,
The trick with Melman is if anybody dies, you have to go a long ways away. There's no clinic or any place to revive your dead party members in Melman. The vampire destroyed it
Yep.
because he's a
A
jerk.
dang vampire. How dare he?
And there's also no item shop in Melman, so if you run out of items, you also have to go all the way back.
People live in. Wow. They should hire the king's guard so they could rebuild those buildings for him really quick.
Yes, they should. They need to go to
And then
Is it
they'll
Canaria?
have
I think it's Cornelia.
Cornelia.
that clinic to revive Humpty, so it'll be alright. It'll all even out in the end.
So is this the point in the PSP where you go after the second fiend?
Yep, this is it. It was actually supposed to be done earlier, but my route is a little bit different than what most other people do. I get some of my shopping done.
And then you go for it?
Yep.
Now, the reason he's taking a lot of damage here intentionally is walking through the lava is actually to keep encounters from happening. You don't get random encounters when you're walking through lava, and so that's the entire person walking through the lava. Unfortunately, you take a ton of damage. I think it's like 1 point per square.
It is 1 point per square, yep.
I can't imagine I would want to fight somebody walking through the lava. Like, if I was a monster and I was seeing someone walk through lava, I'd be so scared. I'd be like, nah, they're gonna beat me. I'm out. See ya.
1 square
No
away.
encounters.
Also, one thing I find fascinating about this version, the fact it has an MP pool. I'm sitting here, I didn't even think about MP restorative items. I'm sitting here watching you, pump up the MP, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's a thing in this game.
Yep, they didn't even add those until the Game Boy Advance version. You didn't even have them in the PlayStation version. They had the original set of items.
Unless you picked easy, wasn't it?
Even if you picked easy.
Really?
Yep. They never added new items to the Origin version of the game. And that's part of the reason why it maintains its difficulty.
And this is your second fiend, who is also super beefed from the original.
She has 1,440 hit points.
And we'll destroy that in about one turn. Just again, a quick shout out. Her name in the original is Carrie for some reason.
Yep.
I don't actually know the story behind that one.
I don't know that one either, yeah.
I know there is a story and I know it exists, but I don't know it.
They had enough room in the item box, or, you know, the name box for the name.
Merilith.
Yep.
I know it's based on... A lot of the original Final Fantasy is actually based heavily on Dungeons & Dragons.
Yep, that's correct.
That's why you have things like the Mind Flayer and stuff now that they have named after the D&D monsters, but they called them something completely different in the original, and I guess they did that to avoid copyright, which I can definitely see, because you have a squid monster and you call it, you know,
Pisco Demon.
Pisco Demon or Mind Flayer, and suddenly you got Wizards of the Coast going, yeah, we want a settlement.
We want our money.
Like, haha, you can't do that.
Shout out to Wizards of the Coast, by the way.
Big shout out to Wizards of the Coast.
For giving probably everyone at some point something fun to do.
You're the reason I pray to RNGesus every Sunday night.
Magic the Gathering?
No, I play
Okay. Yours is on Sunday night. Okay.
Magic's Friday.
That's right, it's Friday Night Magic. I never get to go because I work Friday nights. And I also have a heavily outdated deck.
I don't go because I don't know anybody where I live, and I don't want any strangers.
I play Black and Blue that's 2 years old. So that's why nobody wants me.
I actually partially learned to read by playing Magic when I was a kid, so
Wow.
I mean, my dad's been collecting since it came out. My dad's got
Shout out to the encounter rate, getting one battle every 2 or 3 steps for a while there.
Yep. The encounter rate in this game was kind of skewed.
It is.
Like you could go long periods without an encounter, and then you might walk 2 steps, get an encounter, 2 steps, get an encounter, 2 steps, get an encounter.
Is she getting in a submarine?
No, she's
She's a ghost, I guess.
Yeah, I think.
Technomagus, shout out to you. He says it's a Portal reference. I still don't get it. I've played the game. I don't understand why that's a Portal reference, but...
I guess we're playing with portals. It's okay. Nothing has to make sense when you play with portals.
Nothing does. Alright, so we have... we're going to use our healing staff, and we're going to turn that to the Lordly Robes.
Now, when you do this trick, do you permanently lose the original item?
No. I thought you did originally, way back when I didn't know much about the glitch, but you maintain the original item.
And it's basically just copying a new item in existence.
Yep.
That's why you have, like, multiple black garbs and...
Yep. It is an extremely broken glitch. Very game-breaking.
I would say it has to be broken because, like, you're equipping the black garb, which is, like, a ninja-only item, onto black mages and white mages.
Yep. It's just one crazy glitch. It does have a couple side effects. We will very likely see, or actually hear one of those side effects in this dungeon, because I seem to get in this dungeon very frequently. I have one section of equipment glitching coming up, and for some reason the music just doesn't want to work anymore in this dungeon. Alright, where's my gauntlets?
Now, is this just for leveling purposes, or
no, you can't run from this encounter. There are 3 encounters in this dungeon you cannot run from.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you can't run from the Wizard Sahagan.
Yep.
Or what they call the Sahagan Prince.
Yep. Roll call. All right, sure.
Man.
I'm Leno. How you doing, everyone?
I'm Ultimate Mantoid.
I'm Varn, or whatever you want to call me. It doesn't really matter.
Lady.
But you're not
the other beautiful woman of SRX.
But you're not bored. That's what's important.
Yeah, I'm not bored for sure. Yeah, my name's Varn. You'll see me floating around here for the rest of the marathon. I'll be here and there, probably breaking my foot trying to fix controllers.
Yeah, or, trying to get them to work at all. Like,
yeah.
Shoutouts to square root of -1. 15 minutes prep time for a 5-minute estimate that went to 7 minutes. 50! I'm sorry, it was a 50-minute. My bad, guys.
So we should have started the timer during setup then, I guess?
Yeah, we should have. Yes. We should have time setting it up. Shout out to this game though. It's like it's so. I mean, speedruns of it are really cool, but I really like the use of the game-breaking like glitches, especially with the item stuff. I think that's really interesting to incorporate. I can't imagine what this would be like without them, though, because
There's a category for it.
Yep, it's about. I think Nikki Noel is the one that has the record for that. It's about 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Wow.
Any percent glitchless?
I was expecting much worse, so that's actually really good.
And it's even worse if you're trying it on the NES version, because I think the world record's 4 hours and something.
It's a little under 4 hours.
Oh,
I think.
is it?
I think.
Feasible?
Is it?
I think
It's either Feasible or Gyro. I don't remember which
I think
one.
it's feasible. At least I remember it being feasible. I could be wrong. Could have changed, or I may be misremembering. But I want to say it's feasible. The original game is just a nightmare, and it's so. Like I said, there's at times I'm surprised the game just works. I'm surprised you don't just push the cart into your NES that just says nah.
Shoutouts to these ghosts. You can't run from them.
Oh, the ghost.
Oh man.
We only got 2 of them.
That's the best encounter, because I don't think they come in ones.
Nope, they do not. So this light axe right here is okay. So I want you.
Oh yeah, the 3 encounters. One's the Sahagan Prince, one's the Ghost, and what was the 3rd encounter you can't run from?
Waters.
Waters, that's right.
Water elementals.
Yeah, you can't run from any of the elementals but air, oddly. Which is surprising. I've been trying to run from air for years now. But...
Shoutouts to the equipment glitch. So I pick up the ribbon here. Oh, there's our...
There it goes. There goes the music.
There goes our music. It'll be back. There is no problem with the stream.
Are you sure? No,
Yep. This is just a byproduct of the equipment glitch.
Actually, I think I heard the music come back on.
It did.
Okay.
It'll keep resetting itself.
Oh, well, that's great.
But there is one other time when I was doing a practice run. Vesper looks like he's got something to say.
7.
Am I supposed to understand that? I don't know.
I could have also. I have something to say.
Okay, what's up?
The sky.
It is something to say.
Yeah.
And I give you the president of SRX, everybody.
So earlier, someone was wondering why you have the thief in the first slot instead of the fighter.
This is actually an aspect from the original NES game that we haven't been able to fully confirm or deny, but the theory is if the thief is in the front row, you get slightly better encounter luck. Slightly. Yeah.
I'm taking over the marathon. This is mutiny. I'm taking over.
Mutiny!
You forget I control all of the microphones.
You're still a jerk.
And so here's our 3rd fiend.
Need everyone to spam Hey Joe in the chat right now. and
that was the 3rd
That was the
fiend.
3rd one. Yep, that was the 3rd one.
In the original, the Kraken is ridiculously dangerous.
Yep.
Has 8 tentacles, right?
Yep.
And no, I don't know where this is going. But,
Each of those tentacles has a hit, and he can hit you 8 times for, after critical damage, about 450 damage, which will pretty much one-shot anybody on your party.
including your fighter.
Yep.
Even if it is a knight at that point.
Yep.
It's just hit rate and, multiple hits. The nobody else hits that hard in the game.
Yep.
Physically. Not even Warmac.
And there won't be anything you can do about it. Even if you ruse up, he can still roll a 0 and just one-shot you.
Shoutouts to Leno for running this game. Like, this is intense but fun.
Yeah.
Like, you're explaining all these things you're doing and, like, all your chances to get things and how difficult things are compared to, like, your encounter rates and your things like that. And it's like, makes you really appreciate this run a lot more when you understand what goes into it.
Oh, yeah.
This is,
Oh my gosh, 1203 damage. Let's hit the enemy for about 4 times their max health. Or in the case of the wolf, about 8.
Yep. That's one encounter you can't run from. They are very prominent in the ice cave.
Oh yeah, with the you can't run. Is it from the wolves or the giants? You can't.
It's the giants you can't run from.
Because I knew one of them in the encounter, but I wasn't sure which one.
All right.
Here's the waterfall cave.
Yep. This waterfall cave has one very, very dangerous encounter. It is a 1 in 64. It's our friend the gas dragon.
Oh.
Oh, the gas dragon.
So we have 2 now?
Oh.
Do we have 2?
No, we haven't seen him yet.
Dang.
But
I'm getting excited. Like, I want to see all of them. Like, I want to see
He does
if we get all of
exist.
them.
Is it like Pokemon? You're just trying to get all the 1 in 64 encounters?
Shout outs to shiny farming.
Shiny farming.
Something like that. Like, do you like know off the top of your head like all the monsters you can run away from, or do you just like know them?
Yeah, I do know all of them. I wrote actually. I did write a guide to highlight which ones you can and can't run from, which applies to the main game. There are some for the bonus dungeons, but I don't know them off the top of my head.
I know it's actually a list of things you can't run from.
Yep.
And you can run from everything else.
Oh, okay.
So, like, for example, you can't run from Pisco Demons. Or is it Mind Flayer? No, it's Pisco Demons.
Yep.
You can't run
Yep.
from Pisco Demons.
Yep.
You can't run from Earth. You can't run from Fire, Water, Frost Giants. You can't run from Gas Dragons. You can't run from Frost Dragons.
Yep.
So all the 1 in 64s, can you run from them? Or are they unrunnable?
You also can't run from Mormac, can you?
You can run from
really?
Mormac.
I'm surprised that they gave you that luxury.
Wow, that's actually really interesting.
But
But you're not going to run from him, are you?
If I see him, he is gonna die.
Good.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, he's gonna heck.
Oh, okay. So does he give you like a bunch of XP, or you just want to find him for the
32,000 points of experience and money, which is the highest reward of any single monster in the game.
Can you only kill him once?
No,
Or-
he
Nope.
is a random encounter.
Yep.
He is also the single most dangerous enemy in the whole game.
Yep.
He
Okay.
has a physical attack. He'll hit twice. He is one of the most accurate enemies in the game. His attack is also at maximum damage, which is between 128 and 256 points of damage before the application of the absorb stat.
That's
Now, on a
crazy.
critical hit, remember, it ignores your absorb stat. So, in the case of the knight, he's still going to hit for probably 256 points of damage per hit. Which, if he nails both hits and both crits, you're looking over 500 points of damage on a poor armored guy
And-
that is supposed to tank hits for you.
And you're
Oh, wow.
you're probably dead at that point.
Yeah.
Are those graves behind him?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And even worse, he has another spell called Nuclear, which hits the entire party, between 250 and 400 damage?
About that much, yep.
Yeah, he's
And-
a run-ender.
He could ambush you theoretically and lead off with an attack, and you're just gonna tank it and probably not survive.
Once again, big shout out to what I've run in this game. Like this is a real treat. Like I am really intrigued by this.
I really want to see Warmac. Everybody wants to see Warmac in the run, but
right.
the runner doesn't want to see Warmac.
I don't mind either way if we see Warmac because I am ready for him. I'm not ready for him at all.
It's okay. We'll believe in you.
You got this.
So we have in about 4 or 5 minutes we have the possibility of some Warmac hype. So if we can get some Warmac hype going in the chat.
Warmac hype.
Warmac hype.
I know it's not chat, but Warmac hype.
Right now we just have Minotaur zombie hype. Can't run from him. He's a very common encounter in this area. Only seen him once so far.
Speaking of glitches and bugs,
Yes.
did they leave the Peninsula of Power?
Yes, they did. They left that in.
So there's a little spot east of Provoca. I think it's still what it's called,
Yep.
right? Okay, so there's a little space east of Provoca. If you get up there, it's the top 4 panels. If you walk, or is it the top 2? I think it's top 4.
It's top 4.
Okay, if you walk back and forth in those 4 panels, you will actually get enemies you're not supposed to get at that point in time. You're fighting monsters like zombies, trolls, zombie dragons, and I think frost
Zombie
giants.
dragons, man.
Yeah,
Yep.
frost giants and frost wolves.
And then there was our friend Yallosaurus, one of the dinosaur
Oh, yeah.
monsters, which is also there.
Or also known as Tyro.
Yep.
And the reason for that is that the overworld map is broken into a grid of 8x8 squares, isn't it?
Yep.
Now, there's two peninsulas just east of Provoca. They're really close together, and both ends of it fit in the same 8x8 square. So what happens is you're fighting enemies that are supposed to be much higher level than what you are.
Yeah.
And if you're able to kill them, the experience in gold is ludicrous at that point in the game.
Is it more than Warmac?
No.
No, it's not that good, but it's about 7 times what you would normally get for what you're supposed to get at that point in the game.
So instead of grinding on
why am I
wolves and ogres and other things, you're grinding on like zombie dragons and zombie bulls.
Gotcha.
I should not have tried to run.
Oh, are you fighting a...
Fighting a Minotaur zombie.
Oh yeah, that's one of the ones you can't run from.
Yep.
Yep, you can't run from the zombie bull. So if you fight one in the Peninsula of Power, you have to kill it.
Oh, wow.
And they usually come in groups of 4. If you have a white mage or a black mage, you can usually get harm 2 and fire 2 to wipe them out.
Yep.
Hey, there's the Tyro again. Shoutouts to tiny dinosaurs.
Alright, we have a 1 in 64 possibility right here for our friend the T-Rex. Probably not going to get it.
Statistically, the toughest enemy in the game that isn't a boss or Warmac is the T-Rex, I think. Just based on pure stats. And we did not see the T-Rex.
We did not see a T-Rex. We have one more shot at it, but...
And that's leaving the tower.
Yep. We got a 1 in 64 encounter possibility here with our friend the Blue Dragon.
Even though the Blue Dragon is still coming up anyway.
Yep.
The Blue Dragon is also another encounter you cannot run from.
That's probably because he's a spike tile.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's because anything that's considered a spike tile, I think, is something you can't run from.
Mega Gamer says that there has been a Peninsula of Power in every Final Fantasy game since.
Really?
Apparently, yeah.
This is true. Final Fantasy II, relatively unknown, underappreciated game, has a Peninsula of Power. I don't remember 3 at all.
I didn't know there was... I don't know where the ones in some of the later games are then.
They're not... Someone else says not every, but it's pretty common.
Ah, okay. Not all of them do, but it's a common thing. Gotcha. Yeah, so it's one of the, I guess, a mainstay staple, and I figured they would keep it because that's one of the most famous things about the original game. You know, I mean, I guess somebody must have accidentally just discovered it while, you know, going out in the world. They were like, hey, I wonder what's out here, and they just get a random encounter against probably 4 zombie dragons, and it tore their party apart, and they're going, what was that? It's probably how the Peninsula Power even got noticed.
Naka says it's the bottom of the first town, and they said, I remember finding out the hard way in Final Fantasy II.
Yep,
Oh,
and they just wreck you so hard in that game. A lot of monsters can. Shoutouts to encounter rate.
Oh yeah, good old encounter rate.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VIII has the Island Close to Heaven.
Island Close to Heaven.
Oh yeah, those. I remember that now. That's originally Scorch, isn't it?
Yep.
Those were titled Cerberus in the original game.
Yes, they were.
And
That's the cooler name, though.
oh yeah. It is a much
That's what
cooler
it's
name.
supposed to
So
be.
coming up is the Blue Dragon, which is a spike tile.
Or the Flame Fuckers.
He is a thunder elemental based dragon.
That is weak to fire for some reason.
That's strange.
Was.
Was.
So we have gotten. So what's happened to this point? We've gotten the cube out of the waterfall, and we have used the cube to access the Flying Fortress, which has my favorite music in the game. Easily the best music in the game. Now we get the Eye's brother.
Nope,
Or is that the evil eye?
That is the evil eye.
Okay.
Still can't run from him because he's a spike tile earlier, but that's okay. Still relatively worth fighting. He gives a decent chunk of experience and gil.
And here's the Black Knight, and it's a it's a evil man, isn't it? Or is it
That
dark
is
man?
bad man.
Bad man.
Yep, bad man, evil man. You don't want to see evil man.
The next bad man you'll see be in Final Fantasy X. Titus.
Oh!
Bad man! That's my favorite part of the whole game. I just had to do
Now,
that.
what was so special
If
about
you
Evil
want to,
Man?
I can play the entire
Evil
Titus
man
soundtrack in the
casts
background.
Snoop.
That's right. And you can fight multiples.
You can.
So what are we doing here?
We are just progressing through. I made a movement error here.
Okay. I was wondering what you had done there. I didn't know if that was intentional or...
No, that was accidental.
So we're coming up on the floor with Warmech.
We need some serious Warmech hype in the chat right now.
Warmech, 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 Warmech. So this floor you can't actually get lost in. It scrolls both directions infinitely. It's one of those nice repeating scroll type rooms.
Yep.
And if you go the wrong way, here's the Hall of the Warmech.
We will safety save because we are not ready for Warmech.
If Warmech casts nuke, it's a party wipe, pretty much.
Yep.
No. But yet you can run from air. Like I said, I've been trying to do that for years now.
Alright, Warmech hype in 3, 2, 1. Okay, there's no fight. Nope.
Nope. Nope.
Okay, well, normally this floor has a very high encounter rate, but...
Yep. I did a randomizer race and got Warmech on the first encounter on this floor.
Oh, man.
No. I killed him out of spite.
It's like, I don't care if I lose.
But hey, I had a 5-hour clear time for my first randomizer.
Nice.
So this is the final of the 4 fiends. This is Tiamat. I think in this game, this is Bahamut's sister? Or brother?
I don't recall.
There's some kind of...
There's some sort of lore connection between the two. And it may not have been established in this game. It may have been established in a later one. But the trick with Tiamat is the multiple heads. I think it's a 7-hit total.
Mm-hmm.
And while not physically as, threatening as Kraken, can still seriously hurt somebody. The trick with Tiamat, though, is Tiamat is weak to Bane.
Yep.
Tiamat has no elemental weakness. But if you actually can get a successful, I think it's a 1 in 16 Bane.
It's, I believe that's a number.
Funny enough, you can instantly kill. And if you pick up the Bane sword, if you're playing this casually and you get the Bane sword, spam that thing over and over. You might get a kill instantly and not have to do the fight.
Mega Gamer says Tiamat is named after Babylonian goddess.
Oh.
Nice. Always like learning new things.
No, this is new. Oh no, this is the
Soul of Chaos dungeon unlocking.
Oh, okay.
Shoutouts to Whisperwind
Whisperwind Cove, yep. That's the one I was thinking of, was Whisperwind Cove. I knew that one by name.
Okay, no Warmech, unfortunately.
Oh.
I can go to the Labyrinth of Time and force it, but that would cost a lot of time. And
no T-Rex either.
What?
Wait.
What?
Oh, Berettas. It wouldn't have been a T-Rex anyway. You weren't on a desert square. Sad day. That's okay. We have a chance to see the Iron Golem, who's also a pretty dangerous 1 in 64 encounter.
Yep.
Because of Toxic. And is it still called Toxic?
It is...
Someone said,
no.
Bane, aka Arrow, and in this one, Arrow was a poison spell.
Yep, it is a poison spell.
Okay, I just want to confirm that, I was really curious.
Yeah, Bane is supposed to be like a poisonous gas. Because in the original, when you cast Bane and it works, it says poison smoke.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was just curious.
So we've got all 4 of the crystals, and we're now going to shatter the black orb to go back 2,000 years in time and stop the origin of the summoning of the fiends. No idea who it could have been though, or what it could be causing it, but.
So the gas was called Bane, correct?
Yep.
Bane.
Bane.
B-A-N-E.
Yes. Wouldn't that be the bane of my existence too? If I was with it.
Bad jokes.
Listen, we're not here to talk about your weakness. This is the spell that Gotham needs. It's the spell it deserves.
We may have to make a donation incentive to make you do an entire run with that voice.
So this is the Chaos Shrine. It is littered with all kinds of battles you can't run from. I just got my first one with the purple worms. This floor has gas dragons.
And there they are.
Oh boy. We will make quick work of them though, as soon as I can find my black robe.
1 damage. I like that. 1 damage on a black mage. Why you break this game? That should have been death.
Yep.
Black mage squishy.
Black meat's very squishy.
Call me a clothy again.
Call me a clothy. You say clothy like it's a bad thing.
Dragon Squishy. Oh, there's our friend the Dark Wizards, Dark Fighters.
Are they really our friends though?
They're not that. No, they're not really our friends.
I don't think they are. He kind of stares really hard. Does he have like an actual death spell, or is that just like his name?
I believe he does have a death spell, but he's got a pretty low chance of using it.
Oh yeah, and there's also the ice dragons all over the place too.
Yep.
Fortunately, we don't fight sandworms.
Yep, we don't fight sandworms, fortunately.
No, thank goodness, because they love to spam the. Is it still called crack?
It is Earthquake.
Oh, it's Earthquake.
They changed it to Earthquake.
I mean, technically crack does work because it's opening like a crack in the ground, just swallows you.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know which is a more horrifying death, being swallowed by a crack in the ground or just being erased.
Yeah, that's true.
Seriously, some of the names for the instant death spells in this game are horrifying.
People play with their own fears.
Like, I mean, you have death, which is just standard death. I would rather be dead than be erased, or swallowed by the ground, or killed by a poisonous gas. I would just rather die.
Ooh.
Like, so, zombie dragons, you can run. No, you can't.
Cannot.
Okay.
Oh, you can run from them if they are encountered with vampire lords.
Oh,
So they can't be by themselves. They can't be solo.
If they're by themselves, you can't run from them. It's
That's
one
an
of
interesting,
those weird.
interesting note of the table.
It's a very quirky battle. So what just happened on the previous floor with that instrument playing? That was actually an item given to you by Princess Sarah way back at the beginning of the game.
Yep.
If you're playing the NES version, you don't talk to her. You don't pick that up. You can't proceed.
Yep.
In this version, they force it on you, which is probably good.
Speaking of ice dragons, this is the white dragon,
Yep. Still very deadly.
but you can run from them. I thought you couldn't.
Oh,
I guess you can.
shout out to menuing.
Man,
Yeah,
those worms are-
purple worms are pretty dangerous in a standard playthrough when you don't, bug the game to infinity and beyond.
Well, I mean, we're still here, aren't we?
Yeah. We kind of skipped the infinity part, just went beyond. It's because we made a left to Albuquerque instead of a right. So we're coming up on the first boss of this dungeon. So there's your clay and stone golems, but no iron golem.
They will appear later. Maybe.
Hopefully, maybe. I'm gonna just say this. All the years I had played Final Fantasy, I had never seen an iron golem.
Never?
Never.
Yeah, that's...
Until I finally went and farmed for an iron golem. And I had never seen one, so I went and actually put it on like video of my first encounter with an iron golem. I was like, there's an iron golem! They do exist! What is this? They're the reason they're the rarest enemy in the game is because the floor that you fight them on and the area you fight them on is so incredibly small. You may get 1 to 2 encounters at the most on this floor. So here's the rematch with the Lich.
He's like,
Good
you thought you
damage
had
roll.
me? Ha ha ha! I'm
19,
back!
25.
He has
Oh!
more. Oh, this is gonna hurt.
This,
boy.
This is going to kill 2 people.
Ouch.
This is why we safety save.
So that's not something that Lich can do in the first encounter. Lich doesn't have access to Flare. He has access to, Blizzara, but not Flare. And Blizzara is the spell you got to worry about then. But at this point in the game, you're like, I'll take a Blizzara, whatever. And he's like, nah, I got Flare. We're going to upgrade this. And then he proceeds to hit you for all of your HP.
Someone in the chat asked, what's your favorite Final Fantasy, guys?
I'm in the minority. I feel 10 is my favorite.
10's a really good one.
The reason 10 is my favorite is because I felt like the combat system was literally everything I could have ever asked for out of a turn-based combat system.
System's pretty ballin'.
The combat system is so good that it makes me feel like the story being kind of lackluster is not a problem at all.
I feel like 10 has the best soundtrack with, a certain a certain kind of a added touch to it.
Leno, what's your favorite Final Fantasy?
Wow, I've got a few of them because this was the first one I played back in the NES version.
Same.
And I have deep roots with 6. but I like 5. I like 4. I like 3. I'm in the minority. I like 2. I like 7. I like 8. I like 9. I like 10.
I don't like 8.
Yeah, it's hard.
8 has a good story. I can't stand the junctioning system. I
love it.
have
It's actually very interesting.
I have this desire. I have to have 100 every spell,
Mhm.
and then I never want to cast magic because of
Can I
min-maxing.
remind you that, there's an FFA speedrunner sitting behind you right
Now, I never said I didn't like. I just don't like the game, the mechanics of the game. The story is good.
8 is an awesome game, but it left a lot on the table, a lot of potential on the table, much like 2 did. If they would have just tweaked that system a little bit more, the game would have been so much better off.
So we've already beaten the second Fiend in Rematch Merilith. Here's the third one. They all have significantly boosted HP to what they had in their first encounters. And they're also much higher up the stats table. So, whereas you might get hit for, say, 400 damage against the Kraken in the first one, I have actually been hit. I watched him go after my Black Mage in a playthrough once, nailed an attack roll of something in the 800 range to the Black Mage. I was like, wow, you aren't just dead. You are deader than dead.
You are ultra dead.
You should just have a true death status on you where you can't even be rezzed. You're so dead. And this is why the encounter with the Iron Golem is non-existent, because you just go straight from Fiend 3 to Fiend 4. The Iron Golem is on this floor.
And only this floor.
Only this floor. So if he gets an encounter and it's an Iron Golem, we have literally might as well just gone and bought lottery tickets.
Shout out to lottery tickets.
By the way, before the best Final Fantasy is the Spirits Within.
Yes! Yes!
We will see no phantoms here today.
I actually really like Final Fantasy Adventure, and not a lot of people say that. I personally enjoyed it a lot. I do not know a lot of people that have actually finished it either.
Okay, nope, Purple Worm. Another one you can't run from, though. Now, the thing with Tiamat in the rematch, Tiamat's not weak to Bane.
Nope, not weak to Bane.
So, it's back to a 1 in 64 or a 1 in 128, something like that?
Yeah, it's ridiculously
low. In the original, and I want to point this out, this is something that I've only seen done via TAS, and if you ever pull it off in real time, you probably should have bought several lottery tickets, because it's the most absurdly rare thing possible. You can make the final boss of this game run away with a White Mage. Yep. But the problem is that it's a 1 in 128 chance every single time you cast the Fear spell. And the amount lowered is based, I think, on level plus a random number, a random number seed. So what happens is you have to get lucky enough over the course of 5 fears to lower the final boss's morale to be below an X amount. And if you can pull that off, keep in mind, every successful cast is a 1 in 128 chance. I think I sat down one night with Forsaken Scholar and a couple other people and actually mathed it out. And the odds are somewhere in the billions range.
So like 1 in
a couple of billion
to
make Chaos run away in an actual run.
Because you have to get that...
No. So this is the final boss.
Because you have to get that roll 6 times. That is not an easy feat.
No. You have to, like I said, you might as well just go on and bought a bunch of lotto tickets and won all of them.
Ooh.
So this is the final boss. This is actually Garland. Remember that guy at the beginning of the game that said he'd knock us all down? He actually has the capability to do that now. He casts all the highest level spells, multiple forms of instant death, can cast Cure 4 on himself, or Curaga, I guess, in this game. Or is it Curaja?
It's Curaja.
Right. I was trying to remember which order it was. So Curaja puts you back to full HP. And in this game, it's what, 8,000, 4,000 HP, something like that?
9999 is what it restores. He has 20,000 HP.
Oh! So he has even more in this version. Yeah. Holy crap. Okay.
10 times his original amount.
Nice. Yeah, I guess they got tired of people saying, oh, I'm going to pick a Black Mage and one-shot the final boss. Or not Black Mage, Black Belt.
That's a good point, Mega Gamer. I wanted to bring this up earlier, but I didn't want to dive into it. Back when...
We're getting ready for time, by the way.
Oh yeah, I'm going to let him do time and I'm just playing this thing.
So, the trick with fighting Chaos, you have to buff yourself. And this is the fight you need haste in, isn't
Yep,
it?
this is the one you need haste for. The others are helpful, but you don't need it for them.
Now, well, the way haste works in this game is a little different than in other games. Instead of increasing how fast you go, it just increases your hit rate. Because you're scoring multiple hits. Because everything is still 1-to-1 in turn ratio. So I guess all they did was they just allowed you to hit multiple times. So that's why everybody's hitting for like, 1,800, 1,500 instead of like, 800, 1,200.
Chaos is being really, really nice today.
I can see that.
Base chaos being good.
I remember casually using that.
Time. Wow.
Nice. That's good.
My personal best for this category is 1:30.07.
Nice. You were 2 minutes off that on a long run like that. So what was it you wanted to dive in?
Mega Gamer pointed out about how the creator of this game, this was when the company was on the verge of bankruptcy, and this is like his last ditch effort game.
Yep.
But Fighting Fantasy was taken, so it was thus called Final Fantasy. And here we are today with 15 of the main series, and then like a bajillion others. So
Yeah.
How do we go from this to Backstreet Boys and Cars?
Backstreet Boys and Cars is one of my favorite games ever. Thank you.
It's actually good.
It's
yeah.
really good.
I'm just wondering how.
Fred, your answer is Casey and JoJo.
Casey and JoJo.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
So that was an amazing run, dude. I'm glad to have been able to couch for that.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, that was.
I memed it up, but I'm glad I could couch. Like I was really looking forward to
Hopefully
this.
all my obscure information came in handy again.
It did.
Yeah, because at some points I was like so zoned into the game. I'm sitting here like making faces, like watching the game. So I'm glad you had things to say because I lost the memes.
Is when you start doing challenge runs like a solo white mage, you kind of want to know almost everything about the game because, you got this little squishy white mage and you pretty much abuse the whole game with ruse and auto attacks that do 1 damage.
Have you done Solo Thief?
I have not tried it yet.
Good.
I know somebody has done Solo Thief and they said that they will never do it again.
Yes.